What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for a special YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. This is part 2 of my top 10 virus-infected movies to watch. So real quick, we'll just do a rundown of the first part of the list. Number 10, we had Children of Men. Number 9, Train to Busan. Number 8, Cabin Fever. Number 7, The Crazies. And number 6, Dawn of the Dead. It was a pretty damn good list, if I must say so myself, but let's get to the top 5 and some honorable mentions. Number 5, 1964's The Last Man on Earth. The master of horror Vincent Price plays Dr. Robert Morgan, a scientist who is the last true man after the world has been affected by a plague that turns humans into vampire-like creatures. He hunts and he kills the creatures by day and locks himself in his house at night, hoping to discover the antidote. It is possible that he is immune due to a vampire bat bite years ago, and that his blood contains properties that hold the disease at bay. However, when his overwhelming loneliness prompts him to open his home to a possibly infected woman, his fight to save the human race is jeopardized. This is what I Am Legend, Omega Man, and other films and books were based off of. In my opinion, this is the best of the lot, and it still holds up. A fun fact about The Last Man on Earth is, to accurately show how grueling it was for his character to survive, Vincent Price insisted on listing real people into the back of his car instead of using dummies. This is why it seems he's taking extra care with the bodies. For the scene at the pit, however, he's handling dummies for obvious reason. Number 4, Outbreak, 1995, starring Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey. A dangerous airborne virus threatens civilization in this tense thriller. After an African monkey carrying a lethal virus is smuggled into the U.S., an outbreak occurs in a California town. To control the spread of the disease, a team of doctors is brought in that includes a contagious disease expert and his ex-wife. Once the army intervenes to handle the situation, though, the doctors must fight against the clock to save the town and its residents. A fun fact about Outbreak is, while investigating the village in Zaire, several huts are burned down. This is the traditional tribal method for controlling the spread of an infection in many parts of the world. Food and water are left outside the entrance to the dwelling, and the occupants cannot leave. If several days, usually 3 or 4, of the supplies are not used, then the dwelling is burned down to stop the infection from spreading. Number 3, 28 Days Later, 2003, starring Cillian Murphy. An animal rights group attempts to release a virus-infected chimpanzees into Great Britain, causing the extremely contagious virus to spread among the people. The plague spreads rapidly over 28 days, turning humans into zombie-like creatures. As the virus spirals throughout the United Kingdom, 4 survivors join forces to find a safe haven. But they quickly learn that there are forces taking advantage of the chaos, and the virus isn't their only thing to fear. Some fun facts about 28 Days Later are, there was a backstory to explain Selina's hard-nosed exterior. Apparently, Selina was forced to kill her infected mother and father to save her baby brother, only to discover that her brother was also infected. Also, for the scenes on the motorway, the production got permission to shoot on the M1 on a Sunday morning between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. The police gradually slowed traffic in both directions. Using 10 cameras, the filmmakers managed to capture a total of 1 minute of usable footage. Number 2, Carriers, 2009, starring Chris Pine. When a virus threatens to wipe out humanity, Danny, his brother, and their friends set out across in the desert in the southwest. They're trying to elude the pandemic. Over the course of several days, the 4 friends learn that the darkness within themselves may prove deadlier than any microbe. A fun fact about Carriers is, though filmed in late 2006, Carriers was not released by Paramount until September 2009, following the success of Chris Pine's appearance in Star Trek that was released earlier in 2009. Carriers is an awesome film. If you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. That's why it's number 2 on my list. It's a very, very fucked up movie, and there's this scene with this father and daughter that literally breaks my heart every single fucking time. This is a must-see, especially with what's going on right now. Check out Carriers. Some honorable mentions for my top 10 virus-infected movies are 2007's Rec, which is REC, which is short for Record. Late-night TV host Angela and her cinematographer are following the fire service on a call to an apartment building. But the Spanish police seal off the building after an old woman is infected by a virus, which gives her inhuman strengths. This movie is very, very fucked up. It's got a great, great ending. It's shot with lost footage, you know what I mean, which is a favorite of mine if it's done right. And it was also remade for an American version, which was called Quarantine. For our final honorable mention, we do have Stephen King's The Stand. After a deadly plague kills most of the world's population, the remaining survivors split into 2 groups. One led by a benevolent elder and the other by a maleficent being, to face each other in a final battle between good and evil. So it pretty much is God versus the devil. You know, apocalypse comes, the rapture comes. Which side are you on? Which side's gonna win? This movie is beloved by fans, and they are redoing it. I think the remake's gonna be awesome. And finally, my number 1 pick for my top 10 virus-infected movies is 1995's 12 Monkeys, starring Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. In a future world devastated by disease, a convict is sent back in time to gather information about the man-made virus that wiped out most of the human population on the planet. I was about 18 or 19 years old when this movie came out, and the impact of it still sticks with me. This movie definitely is an acquired taste. Some people absolutely hate it because it's one of the movies that they just don't understand. Me, I got it on first viewing. It's definitely worth multiple viewings. Brad Pitt kicks ass in it, so does Bruce Willis. 12 Monkeys is the bomb. Some fun facts about 12 Monkeys are, although never addressed directly in the film, the script and some promotional material reveal that the future scenes take place in the year 2035. Also, Terry Gilliam was afraid that Brad Pitt wouldn't be able to pull off the nervous, rapid speech that the character he was playing had. He sent him to a speech coach, but in the end, he just took away Pitt's cigarettes, and Pitt played the part exactly as Gilliam wanted. Alright peeps, well that's it. Those are my top 10 picks for my virus-infected films to watch at quarantine time. So definitely, if you agree with my films, if you don't agree with them, if some of them, hold a special place in your heart, or some of them are hitting a little bit close to home, definitely hit us up in the comment section or on our social media. I'd love to talk or debate about these. Remember, we are having a contest giveaway for an AEW action figure. If you want to be in a chance to enter, like this video, make a comment, join our Facebook group under the AEW Insider, and follow us on Twitter under the AEW Insider 1. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing you guys a lot more content since I am self-quarantined. I love you guys, and I got nothing else better to do. So stay tuned for more wrestling content and definitely more entertainment videos like this. As always, I'm your host, Lee Bentz, and thank you so much for joining us for the YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. Ciao, peeps.